I think I am live. I'm getting the hang of this thing here. It's starting to feel normal. I got the click this time. So when you check out this live stuff afterwards, you're going to see all the wonderful responses in the corner of the chat. There was a box. I didn't check. And it only seems to appear before you do these live recordings. So, guys, I apologize. There was some great comments in the last couple of things I did, the live stuff. And it's just, I don't know, sometimes they appear like a day later, but not directly. So I got it all set up now. And I give you guys a couple of minutes, see if anybody's going to show here. I got a couple people here now waiting. But it's weird. My son's birthday was yesterday. And we went to a trampoline park the day before, and a friend of ours just gave this little cup, and if you shake it, like the glitter goes up and down. And my son has been obsessed with that thing for like a day and a half now. He loves it. I was like, I hope he's going to like it for the people who give it to him's sake. But it's amazing for me watching children. They just find pleasure and goodness in things. I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to be drinking this cup tonight to give me some good mojo and get some of that good feelings. But as I'm wont to do, I was waiting to get this thing all set up, and I went to a new computer. I got 2 screens on my PC, and I haven't used that PC in a while. I was starting to watch. I had an old video of Marlon Brando reading T.S. Eliot's Hollow Man from Apocalypse Now, and you got to check it out. You type in Marlon Brando, The Hollow Man, How Culture Dies by T.S. Eliot. And it is one of the most unbelievable readings. It's a great poem, unbelievable poem, post World War I poem. And so now I was all high on my spirit, my kid's glass, and now I got a little bit of T.S. Eliot in me. So I guess that's good for balance, because tonight I'm going to cover the Dolphins' schedule for 2023. And how they literally got to be too legit to quit. Can somebody just give me a little comment there? Let me know I'm not talking to myself. I appreciate that. Someone, Brandon, gave me one a while ago, and I think it was 8:03 when he did it, but maybe I messed up the times or something. But anyway, so I'm going to go over the Dolphins schedule this for 2023. They got to be too legit to quit. When you go look over what they got going here, they got a serious. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm not seeing it on my. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, cool. I got the screen of me over here, and you pop here first, but not here. I'm a tech schmuck. So anyway, thank you, brother, for keeping me in the game. So Dolphins, I truly believe, I get a little bit of chatter that I'm not Mr. Positivity because I focus on the offensive line. It's clearly the weakest unit on this team, but I truly believe that they can get through the season and get to where they got to go. It's no guarantee that this offensive line is going to drag them down, but they're going to need some clear luck in the injury department. They're going to have to play some real football, because this schedule, when you go over it, it is not a schedule for pansies. It's a tough schedule. Everyone that ranks the schedules ranks it. If you're a football knowledge guy, you look at it, and then when you break down each individual game, they're going to be challenged from week 1 to the end. There's a few easy games. There's 2 or 3 easy games, but the good news is the rest of the division is got a hard schedule too. So I'm going to go over Dolphins schedule tonight, some stuff that I found about that, and then do a look over of the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots, because the reality is there is a tough AFC East division and AFC division. And so really getting that 3rd place in a division, it's not going to be a winner for the Dolphins. They've got to really come out hot. That first month is going to be key. But these other teams, they got tough schedules too. And it's about who you're playing, who the key guys you're going against are playing, how they respond. And so this is really one of the most interesting schedules on the face of it. I thought last year was going to be, but the Raiders and the Broncos, they crapped out in the AFC West. This, though, I really think is going to be true excitement for real football fans. But all Dolphins are going to have to kick some serious butt and right out to shoot. So, I think I put this thing up. Usually I get more people on this sucker, But I got to work on my little game of getting this thing promoted. Anyway, so I'm gonna get going for you guys here, and I appreciate that. So I'm gonna rock and roll. I'm gonna put on the screen right here. You can take a look now. This is the strength of schedule, and clearly the Dolphins are at the top of the charts at number 2. And that's tough. It's going to be tough. I don't really think a lot of teams that are expected to be good are going to bomb out and make it easier for the Dolphins. But the good news is the Patriots are tied third, Jets sixth, and Bills seventh. So the whole AFC East is going to be grinding it out. And I don't really see much difference between the Dolphins at 2 and Bills at 7. I think I just splitting hairs. I think all 4 of these teams are going to have to be on a game. And Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Patriots all have a tendency to have this string of bad games, and it could spell their demise if they're not on top of things. Now, if you look in the middle there, you see the blue highlighted in blue. You got the Raiders, you got the Broncos, and you got Chargers. Their schedule looks a little tough, but to me, they're guys that are going to be in the back of the pack. I really don't see them being top candidates to interfere with us in the wild card department. Chargers maybe, but they're notorious for getting injuries, notoriously for getting strings of losses, and I just really can't trust them. Broncos, do I believe that this team's going to turn around? Do I believe that Wilson's going to finally get it right? I don't know. I got to see it to believe it. I do believe in Peyton. And the Raiders, they don't have an offensive line, and I'm just not really hot on them. So I'm not concerned. But what does concern me a little bit is some of these other teams in the strength of schedule to kind of be in the way of the Dolphins. If the Dolphins aren't hot enough and have to get that third spot through the AFC East, or maybe even the second. Chiefs and Bengals, you'll see later what their division looks like, their schedule looks like. It gets tough towards the end, which is good for us. But they got a semi-easy, schedule, middle of the road, but those are top teams. And so that's not positive for us. Jaguars, I think they're going to be a good team. They have so much easier schedule. And to me, the Browns and Pittsburgh, it's very easy to write them off. To me, Pittsburgh is a team you got to look at. I believe they had an excellent draft. Tomlin is an unbelievable coach. I think this team, you have to look at. They had, 8 or 9 wins last year. I think this team could be a team that we have to contend with and could be pushing us for that spot if we're not on a game along with the Browns, which would suck because then you'd have to hear, we should have got Watson, stupid stuff. So then you take a look at this little thing here, and you'll see how do the NFL team schedules compare to last season. So you can see that last year's schedule, I thought our schedule was going to be a little bit tough, but then it kind of like a lot of teams fell off the charts. And you can see the Patriots and the Dolphins and the Chargers and the Bills, and these are all teams that we're going to contend with. They have a very much increased difficulty level from last year's to this year. And again, it's going to talk about the Bills and the Dolphins. I mean, I don't see the Patriots getting first in division. I think that's one of the least likely scenarios. Also, like the Dolphins being fourth in division and the Bills being third or fourth. But this is a tough step up. The Bills and the Dolphins have a tendency to kind of go to sleep a little bit. They're not going to be able, and the Patriots, they got a really good defense to keep them in there, but they, even with O'Brien, they got to be on their game too. Any one of these teams is going to be stressed. And so you go look at the bottom next in the pack, you'll see the Chiefs are up there in difficulty. The Jets are up there in difficulty, which is good for us. But then again, you see the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns, and behind them, the Jacksonville Jaguars, on the face of it, have an easier schedule. And that's going to demand us to be too legit to quit. So going to keep going here. This is post-bye. Now, so let me get, this is not on here for some reason. 1 second, guys. All right, here we go. Sorry. All right. So how does, this is for post-bye. Now, great news for the Dolphins. If we can come out hot, that first month is going to be so critical. Those first 4 games are big because there's going to be some tough portions, but when you lay it out, the Dolphins post by week 10, that last critical phase, they're in the middle of the pack as far as difficulty level. And you have the Bengals, Bills, and Chiefs as having the toughest end to their season. And that, if we come out strong, if we don't have any periods of laying eggs, and we're in that towards the end, we'll have breathing room and opportunity because these teams are going to be stressed. You look at their schedules, it is a brutal, even though the Bengals have a mostly easy schedule, it's that tail end along with the KC and Buffalo that's going to be tough. And that is great news for us because it's all on the line. I mean, I don't want to hear anything. After all we've done, we've got to ace this season in a big, big way. I don't want to hear. I mean, if we got third in division and we go to the playoffs and then go to the conference championship, I don't care. But there is no reason for not winning a playoff game. There's no reason for not getting first or second in this division. And when you look at the schedule, it does offer hope. It really does. But there's going to have to be periods here where the Dolphins are not their usual self. And we got to hope the rest of the division is their usual self. Now, if you look, you can see the Dolphins schedule. They come out, open up against the Chargers at the Chargers. And that's a tough game. But Jackson, is he going to be a cornerback this year? Last year, he was the worst in the league. Slater is coming off an injury. Herbert's coming off an injury. So this is a tough game. And I put it in red here. You're going to see my coding here is red is a challenging game. Orange is a slight edge. Purple is one where we should win. And then the check is something's going on there to our benefit. And lightning bolts is there's going to be a little bit of an obstacle. Now, if you look over the total schedule before I get into it, Dolphins, thankfully, they are not playing many bad weather games. There's two. You got Washington week 13, where you might get some bad weather. And then you got the Ravens, which is going to be a tough one, week 17. Not going to be bad weather. But for the most part, the Dolphins don't get the bonus of putting people in the volcano for the most part. We get a little bit of that, but those teams we should be like the Giants in week 5 and week 6, the Panthers, they're going to be in the volcano, but we should beat them anyway. So I kind of feel like they took away our volcano games, but then they didn't give us many bad weather games, except really that week 17 and then Washington. But should have the edge of Washington anyway. So that's the overall good news. But when you look at it, the first week, Herbert's coming out. He's coming off the injury, the surgery, Slater. We're going in there. It's going to be a tough game. And look, if we drop that, that's house money. If we win it, though, it is a big, big, big deal. And thankfully, it's going to be probably good weather for us. So that kind of suits us a little bit. But then you come back and you're going to the Patriots on the road. And, look, we don't know what O'Brien's doing. We don't really know exactly what's going on with some of his defense. I think it's going to be a tough game for us to win. If you look at the way they played us at home last year, it was a tough team. Now, so that really, it's Belichick. This is his critical year. He's going to be really kind of dialing it in all the season. This is a game, though, I think we can win. This is a key playoff game because division team. Because if you've got the Patriots on their turf, and then you got the Bills on their turf week 4. If you can walk away with those games, the house money is coming to you. It is so big. But I do think it's going to be very, very tough, but we're not playing in the cold. So I like that a ton. And then we got Denver at home. And you know what? I think Peyton's a great coach. He's one of the best coaches around. I think Wilson holds the ball really long. Is he going to fit in Peyton's system? Can an old dog learn new tricks? I don't know. I got to see. This is a good team. They got a lot of good parts, but they gave a lot of stuff away and picks and some players. I don't know what Peyton's going to do, but it's a game we certainly should have the advantage. And then we go to the Bills. And you know what? The Bills, They're a tough team. It's going to be hard for us to come out and take care of them. And it's on the road. You got to, I mean, they're going to be healed for the most part. Is Von, I got the green check there because is Von going to be there in week 4? If Von's not there, that is so big for us. It's going to, he says he's going to be back by week 6 at the latest. He could be back by week 1. But this is a game, we should, you're not supposed to beat, division champion in their house. And so if we do somehow manage to take it, it would be huge credibility for us. It would be huge momentum for us. I mean, I don't know. I think more than likely 2-2 is the bare minimum that we got to come out of this first quarter of the season. I think we could do a little bit better if we can somehow, if we could take the Chargers, I think there's a really good chance we could take the next 3 games and likely have a problem with the Bills. Bills are going to be loaded. When we played them, their secondary was gutted. More than likely, they'll be pretty healthy here. So, that first part of the season, it clearly has to be at least 2-2. Anything less than that's going to put a lot of stress on it, as I'll show you as you keep going here. The good news is that second quarter, that's where we got to gain ground. Giants, I mean, yeah, they're going to be our tough team, but there's no way we should lose to them at home. Carolina, forget that. That's, anybody can lose at any time, but, I mean, if we lose that one, you might as well just go walk off a plank someplace. So, but I almost guarantee that victory. Now, Philadelphia at Philadelphia is going to probably, create a big momentum problem. We're going to come in here with momentum. It's probably in a game we're going to be dropped. Again, it's a game that, can you expect us to win? Maybe, but they got a jacked out team up and down. I think that offensive line, if it's healthy, is going to be able to mitigate some of what we do on defense. And so I could see us dropping that one there. And then, it's New England at home. And you got to beat New England home. And this is why, if you can take New England out in week 2 and then at home, you've at least iced one opponent, at least put them so far in the back seat that you don't even have to worry about them. Now, so then you come back and you're at KC, but it's not really KC. It's in Germany. And I put the lightning bolt there because, we're coming off a tough game against Philly. And then going to play the Patriots are going to be a tough team. They're going to, if that game's should be somewhat close, even when we win it, should be, but they're going to hit you in the face. And then you got to go to Germany. And that's a long, long ride. I don't know if we can beat KC. I think it's possible. I don't think they're as good as they seem. I think last year they had the offensive line that carried them a long, long way. That offensive line is taking a big, big hit. And you know how I feel about offensive line. And so I do think there's a possibility for us to take that one, but I got us at, 3-2 at the least. If you drop one to Philly and you drop one to KC and you go 2-2, you're 5-4, which doesn't sound so hot, but I still think that's a good spot for us because when you look at the rest of these teams, it sure does look like they're going to be in that same area. So then you got the bye week, which is going to be huge. Come back. I think Vegas is a game that we should definitely win. We'll have a huge advantage. That offensive line's not good. And then we've got a short week against the Jets. And that's going to be the first of our Jets games. And now we're going to get to see a ton of what's going on, of what we're really doing, what we're really about. Is the Jets any good or are they garbage? And I think it's a short week and it's a Friday night game. Now, both teams are going to be playing on a short week. I think the Jets, where are they at? The Jets, yeah, they're doing the same thing coming out. It's going to be brutal for both teams that short week, but we're going to be in their house. We're going to have to do a little extra travel. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be real interesting to see what goes on with that. I think we could take that one, but I'm a little concerned. Then you come back against Washington. Now, Washington, it could be a cold weather game. And you know what? Our team have forced to run against a pretty good defense, but I don't see any way we can lose that one. Come back against the Tennessee. I think that's another game we should win easy handedly. And so, you're looking at 3-1 by that stage and 8-5. And at that, it comes into the critical moment, comes into those last four games. And those last four games is the one that I'm really having problems trying to figure out, trying to gauge how we're going to do. Now, I think we can take the Jets at home, but it's another short week. So we're going Monday night to Sunday night, and we're going to be home, but that is going to be a gut check for this team. And it's going to make or break. I think this is going to be one of the biggest games up until that point for the season. Now, Dallas Parsons is unbelievable. I think he's a great player, but I don't really, for some reason, I'm not feeling Dallas or fearing them. And so I think we're going to take that one. And it's that Ravens game and then the Bills game at the end. These last three games, I think, are going to make or break our season. This Jets game, not afraid of Dallas, like I said. I think they're a little bit of a straw man in some regards when you watch them last season. But Ravens up in Baltimore, which could be a nasty game. It could be a physical game. And then you come back at home to the Bills. So I think that's going to be one heck of a ride. Anybody got any ideas what they think? Do you think what ones do you think we're going to take out? I mean, Dallas is definitely tough, but we should take them. Ravens on the road could be a bad weather game. So I don't know. I think at the very least, we got to get 10 wins. But is 10 wins going to get us that last wild card spot? I'm not sure. I am not sure. If the Dolphins come out hot and they can go 3-1 in that early schedule, or even better than that, if somehow the Dolphins could do what they did last year with the opening up with 4 wins, I think we can almost guarantee first and second in the division. And I think it would be a high chance for the first. It's going to be very, very difficult. So when you look at the whole schedule, there is only one period, that's week 5 through 9, where you're going to have an easy ride. And even on that easy ride, it's Philly and KC. Now, I believe Fangio and this defense is going to do something that Boyer never could, and that is create consistency. That's going to keep these games low. I think it's going to bring McDaniel a lot of relaxation to be able to call more patiently. I mean, people are wondering, is he going to call a rushing attack this year? And I think last year he was a little nervous. I think he was a little nervous because Boyer just wasn't able to keep him in the game with that beat up secondary. And I felt like he was feeling the pressure of having to put points on and win through the air. And I think Fangio really can do an amazing job as far as keeping these games, taking at least 10 points off from what we saw last year. You talk about bottom 3 or 4 pass defense in the league. They're shifting away from that to having a top running defense and a top passing defense, I think is going to allow the Dolphins the opportunity for McDaniel to call a different style than he did last season and be more patient and break out that running attack. Now, will he? That's going to be the question. And it's going to come down to this offensive line being healthy and giving him confidence with getting some running wins on key downs early in the season. Because I think you go and you face Baltimore, you're facing the Jets, you're facing Dallas, and you're facing the Bills. All those guys can get after you. And if you're just throwing deep, going high vertical, no run game, you got a few injuries on your offensive line, that means your quarterback's probably getting pressure, probably getting tagged, and you really don't want that. Now, as much as they have a tough schedule, You go look at the. I'm going to go over to the Bills now because I sometimes I get guys, some Bills fans. Bills fans, you have really had a kind of it's not you've earned every single division championship you've had the last couple of years, but the AFC East has been a bit of a mess. Not as bad as when the Patriots had it, but this is the year the Bills are going to earn everything they get. They're going to have to go out there just like the Dolphins and take it. They come out on the road against the New York Jets. And I think two layups after that with the Vegas and Washington. Then it's Miami, but it's at home. And so that first week is very, very layup. They've got to at least be 2-2, just like the Dolphins, if not 3-1, because the end of the season is so brutal. And then they come out and they got Jacksonville, but it's at home, and they got the Jets and Giants in their home. Those are games that are, edged towards them. I expect them to win at New England, but it's early. It's not ugly weather. So they're going to be able to throw and not have a problem. I think there's another one that they can. It's still a smooth schedule. Then Tampa is going to be disaster. They got Mayfield, but then you get at Cincinnati. And this is where the Bills are going to have to also be too legit to quit. Last year it was the Dolphins and the Bills, and we've anointed ourselves, the heads of the division, and the Jets and the Patriots, then they're in the back. But if the Dolphins and Bills do it, whether it's first and second, first, whatever, they are going to be, battle tested like nobody's business. So you got Cincinnati, Denver, which I still think is a victory, for them. But then you got coming back on a short week, Monday to Sunday. You got the Jets, and the Jets are a portable team with that run game, and Rodgers knows how to play in the cold. Then you're at Philly. Then you get your bye week. Then you're at KC versus Dallas, at the Chargers. New England, they're not gonna test. They're not gonna be able to test the Bills unless they totally change around. But then it's Miami at the end. But that run from Cincy to Los Angeles is an iron gauntlet. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. So you look at the Jets, they got a similar tough schedule. Patriots, similar tough schedule. But for me, the Jets, that first 6 games, if they don't come out, they're finished. And they got an easy end to the schedule. I think they can ride it. So the Jets, to me, you look at the Jets, if they come out slow, man, I can see them being in last place in the division. They're going to have to beat Buffalo, Dallas, New England, KC, Denver, and Philly. They have to at least come out 3-3 at the bare minimum. And it could get ugly if not. Now, the Patriots, I don't see them winning division. It'd be very, very difficult considering where Mac was. I think he's going to be knocking one of these other teams off, maybe if they play their hearts out. But this is one tough schedule for all involved. I think the Bills have the toughest schedule on the list. I mean, it's starts out easy, but then it gets harder and harder, and it starts getting to some of that cold weather where unless they're running that football, and I don't know, they got Shell from the Dolphins and they got Sherfield who can block, maybe they're going to run the football. But if the Dolphins decide to go heavy pass, I don't think it hurts them so much because if you look at the schedule, it's not really bad. But the Bills, if they come out with that heavy fun and gun system and decide not to run the football with some level of consistency, it's going to be very, very, very difficult season. But I do like what the Dolphins, their direction, but I think they're the most mercurial. If you look at the Jets, the Bills, and the Patriots, they have been stocking up on offensive line. They've been at least grabbing depth. Dolphins, I like their front, even if you got Eichenberg, who I think somebody can beat him out. And then you got Jackson, who I think can at least play. But if you got Teron, Connor, and Hunt, those are 3 high points. And with what you got at the receiving group, I do think no matter what, if those guys are healthy, I think the Dolphins can compete with anybody. But my concern is, as you know, Tehran going down. I mean, that is such a huge blow for us. We got to pray that he can stay healthy. He can at least play 14 games for the season and in those critical times. But that's really what it comes down to. This is not going to be easy. I'm going to show you on screen one last the close up of the Dolphins. I think I got mostly Dolphins guys here, Dolphins fans here. This first 4 games, I think, is going to tell us pretty much what our season is going to be. If we go 3-1 or 4-0, this is going to be the season that we've all been waiting for. If it goes 2-2, it's going to be a dogfight. And Los Angeles is going to be a tough game. What's his face? The head coach, man, he's fighting for his life. He's got to come out hot. If he comes out and loses week 1 to the Dolphins with all the weight that's on him, the pressure is going to be huge. I think he's going to dial in heavy. I think the team's going to be geeked up. And so it is going to be very, very interesting to see how we respond and how they respond. We could put the knife in them. And the beauty is, if you're a Dolphins fan and we beat the Chargers and we start to spiral, we could kind of push them out of the way, being a team that, is going to be competing with us. And they took the spot from us last year. So it's a huge opportunity. We've got to beat New England. Denver at home, we've got to beat them. So, but we'll see how it plays out. Now, I don't know. I've been a Dolphins fan since 1978. And I try my best. I mean, I was the guy that always believed every year we were going to do it. And this season, I kind of almost feel like there's a real good chance. But I don't want to pencil it in. And a question, Reese's Pieces. Thank you. I like the questions. Thanks for the tip there, brother. You're real kind. I appreciate it. In my practice, I appreciate that. How concerned would you be if the grip? Also, word is Armstead's been acting crazy if he plays. I think. Look, if Armstead, I had made a list someplace. I forget where I put it. I think my list was Armstead, Tua, Hill, Connor, Waddle, and Hunt. And Hunt, to me, if Hunt gets injured, it would bother me. It would be tough. But I like Robert Jones filling at right guard. I think he can do it. I think he won't be as good, but he could fill in it. To me, Tua, with that release, what he's able to do to compensate for this poor offensive line. Toronto is the key. If he's healthy for 17 games, it's going to be a huge bonus. I've been doing my blockers per pass play, and it was some gross numbers that I'm looking at. But when Tehran's in, those numbers drop substantially. It's hard for people to truly understand because, offensive line's not what people want to talk about. They want, the quarterback and the passes. But when Tehran's in, all of a sudden, you need one less guy to block. He takes his guy alone, and then you move your help down the line. And that means more guys into routes, and it opens things up tremendously. Tehran plays all 17, and we are rocking and rolling. I wouldn't say playoff bound, because if he's in and Tua is out, then that's, a neutered thing. I'm going to finish up with Reese's and I'll get that. I'm sorry. I forgot to do this, brother. I forgot to do that. Hold on, man. Hold on. I forgot to do that. So it was a great comment. I'm sorry. I thought it was popping up on the screen. So let me finish up with Reese's Pieces here. I'm not concerned about Cook for the Bills because I don't know if they're going to run the football. They got Harris. I don't think they're grabbing Cook. I don't see it. I think the Chiefs are going to go get Cook. The word is that Pacheco is coming off multiple surgeries. Multiple surgeries. He gave his body like nobody's business to get that Super Bowl ring, and he paid the price. And they got a lot. They got 51 million next year. They got money this year. So to me, I think Cook or Hopkins is more likely a destination for Chiefs. I don't see Cook going to the Dolphins, but maybe Hopkins. He's not. He doesn't have the burner speed anymore. And hold on a second. Let me do one thing. Yeah, I'm trying to work this. Okay. Yeah. So you don't see my little thing over there. And he's a good route runner. He's still a stud, but our secondary is deep, and I'm not super concerned. I wouldn't want him to go to the Bills. And I don't think Cook is going to. I think they got his brother. They got Harris. I don't think they have the money to spend on that. People are saying he's going to play for 5 or 6 million. I think the only way you would do that is with the Dolphins because they got no taxes, so he might play for 5 or 6, but it's really worth 7, or maybe 8 or something like that if he played someplace else. So that I think is a deal. So I'm not really concerned, except for Cook going to the Chiefs. Now, Cook going to the Chiefs scares me the most of anything. So I hope that answers the question and makes sense. A second, let me show on the stream here. I feel like Wynn was specifically picked up to fill for Toronto. Yeah, no, totally. That's why when I did my little thing on him, the guy's got issues. He's not a guy you want to start long term. He definitely is a major step down from my man Tehran, but he's a way better. I mean, I don't think I do a lot of film study, and you watch Little play. There is no way in hell anybody who isn't high on crack and suffering from some kind of schizophrenia would bring Little into a season. It was madness. If we had an average guy in place of Little last year, we would have won 1 or 2 more games. And it would have been so. Win is light years better than Little. And I think it's a good signing. I don't like him as a starter. If he can fill for a game or two with what we got going and how McDaniel's able to call, he does hold. He is weak in certain areas of the run game, but he's capable. He's good against speed blitz rushers. He struggles against the power guys. So I like him. I do. I like him. I think it was a good signing, a cheap signing. I think we should have made a couple more of those. I think we should have had a little bit more investment. But this is Greer's decision. And if Tehran stays healthy, nobody cares. So let me see. Why the Dolphins are ready to not kick the tires on Dalton Risner. Well, you know what it is? Stop guessing. Yeah, well, listen. I understand a little bit with Risner. Risner did something that he got into almost a fist fight or something on the sidelines with his coach. And he played well, but in a very short period of time. And he played poorly in a longer period of time. And so you got to ask yourself, what's going on with that? I mean, when somebody melts down like that and you're not a star, nobody's going for him. So that's maybe he thinks he's worth a lot of money. Maybe he's looking at that short period of time saying, I want a lot of money. And then you add on top of that the uncertainty. To me, when you're in a locker room, when you're in a group of people, and then you got to lead these people, guys like that, it's really dangerous. And he's not a proven commodity. So you would have to probably sign him for 2 or 3 years. And you pay a lot of money for that guy. And then, you don't know what you're going to get as far as production and also sanity. So I kind of get it. Now, Eichenberg, yeah. But you got a second and third. I mean, listen, let's be real. I'm not a big Chris Grier fan. I like a lot of stuff he did this season, and I've liked some of the things he's done in the past. But I can go through a list of things I don't like about him. But he's vested a second and third and passed over multiple excellent offensive linemen for Liam Eichenberg. And he's got to try to make something happen out of that. He can't move on from him. It's too expensive. and you got that huge investment on your resume. So, I wouldn't mind. I don't mind keeping him on the roster as long as he has to earn a position. As long as he has actually got to earn a position. But for me, from what I'm seeing with Jackson Eichenberg, they kind of brought guys in that really not going to challenge him too much. So I think that he's kind of caught in a rock and a hard place. He's kind of caught in a place with his ego, also with his cap. And so I just think that personally think Liam Eichenberg and Jackson are starting no matter what happens. I don't see anybody taking their spot, but we'll see. But thanks, George. Let me see how a second. I got the whole thing. Oh, yeah, man. Vic, this is going to be, listen, that's why I got my cup over here, my drink. I don't know if some of you guys might have missed it. My son got this for Christmas. Some of you guys have heard this story. And this is a kid. He's 7 now. And he walked around with that cup and he was like, oh, it's not, it's, whatever. But then I took the cup and flipped it over and you watch the sprinkles moving up and down. You couldn't rip this kid's hand off that thing with a crowbar. And it was just a love of the simple beauty. And I've been doing this for 43 years. If I'm putting all my heart and all my enjoyment on us winning, it's not really a wise maneuver. I want it more than anything. But as a football guy, as an evaluator, the battles in this division, the battles in the AFC, NFC is kind of a little boring. But this AFC is going to, I'm telling you, Steelers are a team that's going to push. I think is a very exciting. I would love to do a journey on them because they're very, very exciting. Hold on a second, let me get, now I'm getting all these comments. I can't keep up with them. Watch out what you pray for, right? Okay, hold on a second. All right. Hey, what's going on, brother? Ace, ESPN says it's fluff stats, but if Hill and Waddle comfortably get 1,500 yards and 10 touches apiece, then the record is broken for all-time duo combined. That's wonderful. I love that stuff. I love when I sit down and talk to somebody and I can say, well, my team did this. I mean, I've been carrying the perfect season forever. And that's great. It's totally great. I think they can. But at what's the price? I felt like last year, McDaniel was just forcing the ball to Hill too much. I think he was vertical too much, jeopardizing too with having to be in the pocket and not really having lots of options. So it would be great in the flow. And I personally think if he runs the football and has a balanced approach and he gets legitimate guys coming up and he doesn't have to keep 20 guys in the box to block, you're going to see these kind of plays. When you run that play action and you run that football and you bring that safety up or that linebacker group to take that step forward and you open up the middle, that's how Hill and Waddle get the ball and they go for 80. So I'm hoping we do it, but it's got to be in the natural flow. It's got to include lots of running the football, man. Not lots, but 50%, 40% at least. And not draws. Forget them draw stuff, man. It's just the draws. I'm going to get some more. I love these comments. Guys, I'm going to stop for a second. Any of you guys want to come on this show, you could put like a picture of SpongeBob if you don't want to show your face. You just want to chat. That's why I'm doing this live thing. I like you people. I like conversation. I like you guys support me. And I want to have a conversation, so these comments mean the world. I would just do comments all day. I'm really trying to do a podcast where I just answer you guys' comments on the podcast. So any guys want to get on this channel, you can get me at Curtis at Ace per Head. Email me. And maybe if you want to email me questions or whatever, I could prep for it if it's a long one. I appreciate you guys taking time out to watch me and do this stuff. It's really awesome. So what is your estimate of winning the AFC? It's going to take, the problem is it's not the AFC East. Like if you win the AFC East, then you're in the playoffs. And I think if you get to second, you're going to be in the playoffs. But when you look at these other teams, you look at the Browns, you look at the Ravens, you look at the Steelers and the Bengals, every one of these teams, even in the West, they're going to be dragging down people's wins. And there's going to be this whole, just scrum of teams fighting for that non-divisional win stuff. So we got to win the AFC East if we want to secure ourselves. But I think 12. It's got to be 12. I think the Bills are not going to win as many games. I don't think anybody in the East is going to win as many games. I think 12 is going to be the key to winning the AFC East because I went over the schedule before you just came on. It's brutal. And have been watching since you were talking about Greer's dad in your show. Oh yeah, well, I mean, both these guys. Look, Chris Greer and his Bobby Greer. These got big time guys. They know more than me about football, but they have a certain MO. And that is you stick with your guys and they're going to be good enough. They believe in their skill set. And they have a tendency to be animus to the coach when he doesn't believe in their picks. So we'll see how it plays out. But this is Chris Greer and his father's MO. So, I mean, if he's right and these offensive linemen play out the way he believes, he's going to be brilliant. And I'm going to say, I was wrong. You were brilliant. But if not, he's a jackass. West, they almost broke it last year. I think they will this year too, is training so hard. There's going to be no point in the schedule where the Dolphins can have one back-to-back loss and not much more than that. And there's so many critical games. So they've got to be on. There's no AFC East team that's going to be in the first and second in this division that didn't earn it. There is no skating. Last year there was skating. There was a lot. I mean, you had Bill Belichick doing totally crazy stuff. You had the Jets with no quarterback. Tua was knocked out for multiple games, and the offensive line shuffle. I mean, the Bills, they earned it, and I give them all the credit in the world, but they had a lot of help from their friends, and I don't think it's going to be that way this way. All right, here we go. Papa, sup, brother? I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for stopping in. Makes me not feel so alone with these comments. I really love your comments, man. I really mean that. So I had some great comments. If you guys get a chance, go back. I think it was the Sims one. I got them all stored. I'm gonna do a podcast. You guys have the great comments, really cogent stuff. We got been a Fins fan since little, born in 1966. You're older than me, man. You're like the hills, Vic. Seen the best and the worst. Yeah, well, let's see what this. I'm not up there with you just yet. I was 71, so you got me by 5 years, old man. Let's see. We'd love to join you sometimes. Oh yeah, man. Please, guys. I'm not going to be doing no like PG a peeing contest where I know more than you and stuff like that. That's just it. I have found, and I mean that legitimately and honestly, going through the comments. I mean, there's some big time guys that show up on Aunt Grace's channel, but I'm just regular fans. They have such awesome points. And even if sometimes they're wrong, it's like they give me an idea. I'm like, holy cow, I didn't think about that. And, I learned so much from the comments. And I got my wife told me I had to do this thing, but I chose to do the live because I miss being not the bar, but I miss being around guys and talking football and stuff. I miss playing. That was my favorite part about playing football. I mean, I love hitting people, but it was to be around people and having relationships. So yeah, man, just email me at Curtis at Ace per Head. Curtis at aceperhead.com or whatever it's called, Gmail. I could check for you. I'll put it on the next PC. I'm not smart like that. Let's see. Your channel's a hidden gem. Yeah, you're kind, man. You gave me the tip, but I think I'm going to give you the tip for all the kind things you say, bro. I appreciate it. I really do. Hey, man, I got Sharif. Am I saying it right? Sharif West. I understand your context in that example. So 50 passes are spread, or I'm sorry if I'm screwing it up. I'm a name idiot, so it's got to give me some grace. So 50 passes are spread around to audible runs, out the backfield dump offs, or occasional scrambles instead of. Yeah, listen, there's no like, oh, we have to run this many times, we have to pass this many times. It's a feel. And You know, if you watch Shane Gailey with the Dolphins, the season he coached the offense, people don't like it, but I totally disagree. I learned so much, man. I cannot tell you how much Shane Gailey taught me about running the football. And it's not about even the production so much. There's a whole school of thought about attempts, what attempts mean. And he would just run the football, burn out the clock to keep the team guessing. And it was legitimate runs. It wasn't lots of draws, but it really played out over the course of the season. He understood within a drive, within a quarter, within a half, within a game, within the course of the season, you had to run the ball this many times to create certain things. And so I think we're going to clearly need to be a passing team and a high volume passing team. But some of those passes need to be more small ball style. Like how many timing routes did we see, like curls and comebacks and things to take advantage of all the leverage we created? It was all this high vertical stuff. And I don't feel like we attacked every level. And when you run, we ran 150 play action passes, which was third in the league with only 400 attempts. He would have been in like 250, and we didn't have a real running attack. And you can watch on film, just like with the Bills, linebackers didn't even bite on that play action. So I don't know what the exact number is, but I know you've got to create doubt. When defense takes the initiative, the offense gets screwed hard. Offense has to have the initiative, and that means keep them guessing, baby. Sims is a clickbait. I did a video, and some people are like, he's this. I don't really watch him all. I've watched him here and there and stuff like that. I like to really have context, and I think this guy's got a incredibly tough job. He's got to have high volume traffic. He's got to cover multiple teams. I don't know if he's doing the Tua thing because he really doesn't like him, or he's doing because he knows he gets, he could beat the Tua Pinata. I don't know. I think the guy is smart. I think the guy, I've learned from him, but there's certain holes in his game, and sometimes there is prejudice. And I'm not talking about with skin color, like that, but you create an evaluation prejudice, and you have what's positive or negative. And so he might say, well, Tua's short and his arm is this, and he might not like that. And then it skews the way you eval. Prejudice is the worst thing in the world. I'm not talking about in anything. You might like short guys or tall guys. You might like blonde girls or whatever it is. Prejudice blockades truth, the seeking of truth. And once you already have a predetermined idea of something, then you cannot seek the truth and you will get screwed. So that's my take. Man, well, some people do, some people don't, but I'm glad you do, brother. I'm going to keep going through all these lists. Okay, Reese's Pieces, Papa, yeah. Oh, these guys great. All right, so with the arrival of Fangio, Ramsey's, and our CB's healthy, does that carry us deep into playoffs? They say defense wins championships. Well, again, this is my problem with coverage in general. And it could be, even myself, sometimes I catch myself, but it could be, YouTube guys and the big things. It's these long, drawn out evals. He's going to Hall of Fame. He sucks. He's never going to make it. The NFL is the most wild and unpredictable and mercurial sport on the planet. Teams are said to do this, play this, and something happens. The guy slips on a bar of soap and his career's not. I don't know. I mean, you could see Howard get it, Howard again, and then Ramsey goes down, and now you got one-legged Howard and Kohu. And okay. So anything could happen. If everybody's healthy, this offensive line's healthy, I like our chances. They're not perfect. I think there's situations that it's not going to be the most conducive for us to win. But when I go over the schedule and there's not a lot of bad weather games, I like our opportunities. but I wouldn't book it. Sims, yeah, but listen, there's guys out there, two of this, two of that, two of this, and they know that you get a huge ride from the two of people. You say you make it sound like he's being maligned, or he's gonna, fire's gonna shoot out of his behind, he's gonna fly to the moon, or then he's never gonna make it. He's a pinata. He's like Tebow. Now, I'm not talking about the play, but they know that there's this huge following with him, and they know they can beat it for clicks. And the people that love him and the people that hate him, they like to get beaten, and they like to be, to be a pinata, part of the pinata. That's why I don't really cover Tua that much on my channel, unless it's really relevant, because I think it's disingenuous to an extent. Yeah, it's all right. Listen, I disagree with myself probably 15 to 20% of the time. My wife, a little bit more than that. So I believe in disagreement. I don't believe I'm a guru. I believe I'm wrong. I get things wrong. I get things off. But my goal has always been to be honest and to really seek the truth and to understand that this game is so complex. It takes time. And sometimes you throw the dart and then you got to go pick it up and move it a little bit. So that's okay, man. I appreciate it. And I want people who watch this channel, if they don't believe in something, say, dude, I'm calling you out, because that's important. Dialogue means to and fro. It's not me telling you and you going, I'm not worthy, because that's retarded. It's ridiculous. So I appreciate that. Always call me out. Let's see, any more questions. Okay. So there we go. This season is going to, there's a lot of fans out there. There's a lot of channels out there that already have the Dolphins pegged for the playoffs. They already have the Dolphins maybe even pegged for first in the division. They got the Bills, they're yesterday's news. We almost beat them last year. We're a better team, so we're going to beat them this year. The Jets, Rodgers, he's a jerk, and he's just there for the money, so they're going to do no good. And then the Patriots, Belichick's done, and Jones sucks, and don't believe any of that, because there's three things that I could say I would stake my life on if I had to. One, I don't see the Dolphins coming in fourth place. I just don't see it. I don't see it as a possibility. I see maybe third, which would be a huge letdown. I don't see the Patriots being first in the division. Just don't think they got enough firepower. But for them to be in second for what they do and screw one of these other three teams would be like marvelous. It'd be like, whoa. And I don't see the Bills being in third or fourth. Other than that, I think anything is possible. And, you got to just wait and see. And this is the beauty of this game, is the beauty of the competition that you're seeing with this. Oh, I got to I forgot it. I got to take the highlighted thing off. I'm a man. I can't multitask. Anyway, so let me go home. I'm going to look at one last thing here. You go look. Pittsburgh. This is a team that's going to be, I think, ferocious, and it's going to screw somebody out. Then you got the Ravens that are coming. I mean, go down the list and look at all the teams. And I think there's certainly some teams that are going to be, at that top, but there's going to be a whole host of them across the middle that are going to be vying for the side. Now, before you go, I had said at the beginning, I watched Marlon Brando in his video I have. It's unbelievable. Doing Hollow Man by T.S. Eliot. And is a line I love. It says, between the conception and the creation, between the emotion and the response, falls the shadow. And there is no guarantees in this league. Anybody who tells you that is a liar and selling you something. Anything can happen. All it takes is Mahomes to get really dinged, and Chiefs are out of it. And it can happen, guys. So just get ready for some good football. Get ready for evaluation. Get ready for surprises. Get ready for excitement. And get ready for some amazing competition in the AFC. And if you want to believe The Dolphins are already locked and loaded. Go for it. If that's what you want to do, enjoy. That's what it's about. But the accuracy, it is going to be a fight for the life of all these teams, and I am psyched. So, yeah. Bo G. Oh, yeah, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. I appreciate all you guys. It's still not. My wife talked me into this thing. I didn't think anybody would even pay attention to me. It was beyond me. People have been saying I should have done it for a couple of years now, and the only reason I did was because my wife demanded it, and I am so grateful that you guys actually stop by here and have a relationship and hang out with me. I really appreciate it. So thank you all. Yeah, thanks, Archmage. I gotta get Archmage, man. Hey, Archmage. If you don't mind asking, you play Dungeons and Dragons? I'm an old Dungeons and Dragons guy. Always appreciate the realistic takes on things because of overhype. Yeah, I hate all that stuff, man. I hate all that stuff. I hate it because Dolphin fans are like Tua. They're a pinata. They get played every year. How many years have the Dolphins fans been told they're going to win it and it ends up being a letdown because they know they can play their emotions like a heartstring? Anyway, guys, have a good night. You're the best. Catch you soon. Be well.